Hey guys, Angry Joe here, and I'm with Cardell of Infinite Crisis. We meet again.
We do.
So I gotta ask. Last time we spoke, I was super excited. I was like, "Let me see Superman. When is Superman coming? When's Superman coming out?"
Superman's one of the hardest characters to ever figure out powers for. I mean, the guy barely does anything.
Superman is finally out, you guys. I got some footage of him.
Kal-El is a powerful bruiser who excels at initiating and finishing team fights.
And I've got some footage of Mecha Superman, which is brand new Superman.
When the young Clark Kent connected a crashed Kryptonian space probe to his family's agrobot, an amazing new robot was born. Clark named the robot Kal and tried to teach him what it meant to be human.
So obviously super excited. Tell us a little bit of how Infinite Crisis has evolved since we last talked. It's a ton.
Yeah.
It's a ton of stuff.
Wow, so let's see. I'm sure the first time we talked, last time we were talking about Coast City. It was like, we're gonna work on Coast City. You've never heard of this map. It's never happened before. Like, great. We built Coast City. We've done a lot with Coast City. Doomsday Device, craziness. Like you see Ferris Air blowing up. You see Statues of Green Lantern blowing up. Yeah, that was nuts.
And now there's a new one, Gotham Divided.
So now we're going to talk about Gotham Divided. Yeah. And Gotham Divided came out, I want to say the end of January, and I've been seeing all sorts of people do crazy stuff with that map, and it's been awesome just to kind of watch how people's games have evolved. And obviously, since then, we have, I want to say, something like 10, 12, 15 more characters, somewhere around there.
Oh, yes. It's been quite a few months, and Gotham Divided is the 3-lane map.
Yes.
But I want to know, why Gotham again? We already had Gotham Heights. Where's Metropolis? Where's all the different locations? What made you guys go with Gotham and Gotham Divided?
All right, well, one of the reasons why we decided to go with Gotham and Gotham Divided is because when you look at the actual, where we had to work with, and also some of the areas, I'm not going to say the most popular area because it's not really true. I mean, I agree with Metropolis, City Tomorrow, I can go wrong with that one.
Okay, I will admit, Gotham is dang popular.
Gotham's dang popular. And then on top of that, it's like, we wanted that map to tell the story of these two different alternate worlds smashing into each other. Okay. When we actually want to sit down and like, when you look at Coast City, there is no alternate world smashing. It's just like, this is focused on Coast City. When we do other locations, we're going to want to do something similar to that. Like where it's like, you're in Metropolis, this is where we are. Like, there's no doubt. Like you see that Daily Planet sign up there?
Yeah.
Like this is it. Like this is where the big dog lives.
Yeah.
And I think that when I looked at that from the world of, I wanted this intrusion, like to be obvious in the map, where it's like on the left side you have a steam-powered gaslight area to the point where you're gonna hear different sounds. There's gonna be different music that plays when you're on that side of the map than when you're looking in the other side of the map. We wanted it just the map needs to have its own narrative, and it's not like it is for other games where I'm just gonna build a narrative experience that you then have to go down. It's like each time you play, it's a different experience entirely. Yeah. Like if you're gonna play Green Arrow, if you're gonna play Cyborg, if you're gonna play Mecha Wonder Woman, they're going to play differently, and you're going to have a different experience for each one of them.
Now, I have to give your team props. So obviously, people are going to have a lot to say when you create one of the most popular superheroes, Superman. I had a lot to say when he first came out, but I think overall, y'all did a really great job creating him. I mean, the only thing I think is hilarious is that he sort of flies like Meteor Man. Have you ever seen that? He flies sort of close to the ground. Yes. Yeah, but so why did y'all choose to have Superman sort of grounded and walking instead of hovering and flying?
Well, there are a few different reasons. I think one of them, the biggest one right up front, was it's easier to make his power obvious when his feet are planted. The dude's like floating, it just doesn't look right. And we tried quite a few times.
You mean like the impact behind the punches? Just the impact behind a punch.
Like
it looks better when
if you're grounded, it looks like your blows hurt a lot more than they are if you're just kind of floating around. And I think on top of that, there's the other side of like we wanted Superman to be more grounded. We wanted him to look like he's gonna like, look, I'm like one of these people. That way, when he uses powers that pulled him off the ground, it's that much more awe-inspiring and frightening. Because like when you see him standing there, next thing you know, he kicks off his ultimate, and you hear "not this time," and you see him start to float in the air. You're like, oh, this isn't gonna go well for me at all. And everyone has that one moment where they're like, is that line coming to me? Oh crap, that line's coming to me. And like they're trying to move, and next thing you know, he smashed at the wall. Like that was exactly what we were looking for. And it's a jarring change, and it's a very obvious one. Yeah. And that was it.
The ultimate is quite well done. And even if you don't like that particular Superman, I think the strength of Infinite Crisis is one thing that makes it unique from other MOBAs is the fact that there's 5 other Superman, like, well, exactly, I read on the forums there's actually 6 universes. I thought it was 5, but there's actually 6.
Well, you're thinking, when you say 5, you're just you're glossing over Prime. That's all.
Oh,
So,
Prime,
yeah,
right.
like,
So there's 6
there's
total
6
with
total.
Prime included.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't like that particular Superman, there's always different types of Supermans. You got a Bruiser, Enforcer, maybe an Assassin, Marksman, some different things in the future. Tell us a little bit about the brand new champions that you guys just showed off.
All right, so which
Start
one?
with Green Arrow
Let's
because
say.
I've been watching the show recently and I love that show, so I'm into Green Arrow.
Marooned on a desert island, Queen honed his bow skills to survive, pledging his life to making things right and donning the mantle of Green Arrow.
Again, I just want to say, I mean, they didn't see your game yet, but the fact that you did not fail the city is super important for me.
I did not fail
You did not
the
fail the
city.
city. Like that is super important.
Yeah.
As you can see, Green Arrow fans here. So, Green Arrow is the 4th marksman, and his particular strength is he's very, very mobile, and he's one of those characters who's all about kind of courting and pre-planning your fight. So every single time you use an ability, you normally get an immediate effect from when you invoke the ability. So in some cases he will tumble, in other cases he preloads his arrow, so his first shot next time does more effects. And when you're playing him, it's about kind of juggling that and knowing like, all right, well now's the time when I should go in, or now's when my secondary effect is going to kick off. Those are the types of things that you need to keep in mind when you're playing him. And I feel like overall, he's possibly one of the, if not the best marksman we've played so far.
Oh, he's so good.
So
And I play
like,
Cyborg a lot, and I love Cyborg. But Green Arrow, if you play Cyborg, you're gonna love Green Arrow.
yeah, he's a lot of fun. We've been playing him a lot internally for a very long time, which is why it's so good to see people actually play him at first.
Yeah.
And they're running around. They start figuring out what he can do and how his long distance ultimate ability allows him, like that you would take earlier, as you already saw. It is not gated behind 6th level. You pick it up earlier. It will also transfer the effects of whatever stance he's in.
Yeah.
So you can start to see where
It makes total sense that he's got lots of different stances that have
Yes.
lots of different gadgets and different effects. It's great. And speaking of turning people's perceptions around, Aquaman.
The Lord of Atlantis is a melee bruiser who excels at solo skirmishes and poking during team fights.
If I didn't have Aquaman on my team in that match, we would have lost. The guy's a beast.
He's a monster.
Describe a little bit about Aquaman.
So Aquaman, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Our goal with Aquaman was to make it so that when people would actually be playing the game and decide, oh man, we died. Like he's got like 3 or 4 kills. The game's over, man. Aquaman, we're done. I wanted people to actually be able to say that because we want to make Aquaman. I feel like he's actually the highest skill cap character we've ever made.
Yeah,
like, he's really. I'm like, people can play him and they can do okay with him, but if you were really good with Aquaman, you could do horrible things to people, and he makes people look stupid. Like
It takes practice, though.
Oh yes. Well, the fact that he has effectively those 3 different types of ultimate abilities based off of when he uses them makes him so effective. I mean, obviously, it's like you see the China come out of nowhere, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, here he comes, and Aquaman like rockets over the wall and like spears you in the face, and you're like, oh, that sucks. You try to get away from him.
I was thinking, but when you see Aquaman around, some people are going to say, oh, he's a fish out of water. I had some ideas. I was like, because the DC universe is so vast and there's just so many different locations and locales and champions and just the possibilities are infinite. Do you think in the future you guys might release different map skins? This would be something that no other MOBA has done before,
right.
and we might see a skin that's more appropriate for Aquaman, right. Or maybe Metropolis in the Gotham Heights type city.
We've definitely talked about doing that as a concept, and I actually think we may, if we're going to go in that road, we might even consider doing something along the lines of like just taking the game itself and almost you keep all the same gameplay effect that you would have within a Gotham Divided or a Gotham Heights or Coast City, and just change it so it's like, and now you're in Atlantis, and that's the difference.
Yeah,
you know, it's
that's awesome.
Like
yeah.
there you are.
And I would totally support that because it would be all new things to pick up and throw at people, which is another unique thing about. And I keep harping on unique things about the MOBA because when I play this, or I'm on YouTube, or I'm on Twitch, the first thing you see is it gets compared to every single other MOBA, which, you know, I guess because the genre is younger, that's going to happen a lot more. But I do really want to see some more unique things with Infinite Crisis. Have you guys considered any additional modes that maybe have we not seen before, like something like asynchronous multiplayer where you've got like 5-on-2 and it's a battle for, you know, civilian NPCs, just something crazy that we've never seen before. I know it's hard to balance and all that, but have you guys considered any additional modes besides the ones that we've seen?
Yes, I mean,
are they coming?
Well, I will say that you'll be the first to hear about it when we actually do start releasing them. There's that to say. But I would say that just in terms of like the design philosophy that we have is in order to get better at something, you have to take risks. In many ways, it's no different than any other thing you do in your life, where it's like, in order to get better at MOBAs, you have to take risks.
Yes.
So one of those is you have to be willing to experiment. You have to be able to try different places. And internally, we are going to continue to try different versions of maps because you learn as much from the successes as you do from the failures. Like every single time you try something new, you just get better at what you were doing before. So as a result, you can definitely expect you'll be seeing more different types of gameplay experiences from those. I don't think that we're going to have them all featured front and center because you need to have a critical mass of people to be able to get into a match as it is. Yeah. So every single time you introduce another map to that mix,
you're splitting the player base a little bit. Yeah, I see how that is, but at the same time, I think some of these different types of modes may be necessary.
Yes.
Because right now, just for new players, like if you could tie it into a single player mode or bot modes where it's more like, because the DC universe is so rich, you could tie it into, like, oh, here's the villains you have to stop, and training players on how to play, essentially. So that would be a great idea for a tutorial. Are you guys going to implement a tutorial to help ease new players into the MOBA?
Yes. So one of the things already for open beta, we already plan on trying to do something that's really just a basic, almost like a free play, so that people can learn, like, okay, this is how this map is actually laid out. This is what it is to move around. This is what it is to potentially capture a point. This is what it is to fight another person to take a turret. Like, this is what it actually means. So that's right up front. And then eventually we plan on actually going on with a full-bore tutorial experience of, like, you're going to take this character and you're going to play through this area. We're going to teach you all these specific things about both this character's abilities and about what you should be doing in these types of situations.
Yes, and the two biggest hurdles of MOBAs that hurt the experience is when players show up that don't know what they're doing, so a tutorial would help against that, and AFK. So, and especially, at least in the closed beta, that's been a little rough on players, especially in the forums. What systems have you guys looked at to improve these AFKers not showing up? I mean, one thing right away that you guys need to do, and it frustrates the heck out of me, if nobody selects a champion, they get auto-locked with the champion and they go into the match anyway. You guys should quit that match before it actually joins because the guy wasn't there to pick his champion. He's not going to be there to play the game. But what different kind of systems are you guys considering for AFKers, which is a huge factor in MOBAs?
So one thing up front is that for ranks, what you described is exactly how that works. Okay. We typically didn't do that for generally more of a free play because we thought more people would be more willing to get it.
It needs to go to free play.
But that's certainly true. We want to make sure that we can get into a match. But I would say that on top of that one, right up front, clearly, we need a surrender. We need a surrender option. Because I feel that one of the most telling things you see is often when people will play, and then when they feel like, oh, we can't win, they will just stop.
Right.
And they will just stop playing in whatever. And that's
a report option or something like that.
And you can report people at the end of the match during when you're in the scorecard.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, we've actually had a lot of success on that one. But I don't feel that reporting people gives them any more hope when they're in the middle of a match, right? Like if they feel like they can't win, they're more likely to just stop playing because they want to play another match, which is flattering because I want them to play another match. But at the same time, it can totally drag an experience down, and like that's more of that cycle of like, well, how do we want to actually handle that? And we've been talking about other things in terms of like, I mean, obviously with reporting and with surrender, we think that'll get better, but we've been trying to find other ways in which we can kind of incentivize you to play and try.
Do you have some ideas along? Is something coming to help out Infinite Crisis in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, well, just those two alone will help us significantly, but then on top of that one, like, there's the concept, like, the merit, just our merit system and being able to pull that out in terms of that one as well. Like, that way it's like you really just losing by stopping playing. Like, you're better off just playing all the way through. And like, that's ultimately what we want to get to, where a world where, you're not getting rewarded for bad play. And that's really what we ultimately want.
And so the big news is that Infinite Crisis is going open on what date? March 14th. So that'll help out the player base. A lot more players will come in. Hopefully, do you know if you'll have your tutorial in by then? So to help out those new players?
For March 14th, what you're going to see is we're going to have our free play experience where it's like, again, you will jump into that queue with a bunch of other people, be match made. So it'll be 5 of you versus no one else. And you'll be in our Coast City experience, so that you can kind of fool around and kind of learn.
But you're not against AI bots?
Not yet, no.
Interesting. Okay, so not enough time to develop the AI in there?
I would say that it's a combination of that, in addition to the fact that it's even less pressure. Like we wanted the lowest possible amount of pressure you can possibly get. I mean, even AI bot could probably murder you if we're careful. I mean, AI Green Lantern probably will kill you.
Well, that's good. At least it gives you more time to focus on that tutorial and maybe throw in some stories. Because another big announcement, at least here at the event, is that DC is getting behind this. WB is getting behind this in a big way and actually developing story for it in a comic book series. Are we going to see eventually some of that, in the game? Are we going to see some storylines, maybe some quest challenges that you can go on that may line up with the story?
My goal is to interleave them as much as possible. I mean, I always want to make sure that the comic guys have the ability to tell the most entertaining, greatest comic story they can tell. But at the same time, always using the same source material. Like when we build a world, we build the Arcane Earth, it has its own story behind it. And there's merits and flaws in that entire story. Like Arcane Green Lantern and his Templar Order, they are built off very basically a set of things that happened in that Arcane Earth, and I'm hoping that those things will start to come to line, and you'll see some portion of them in the comic line, but as we start trying to find other ways to convey our story, you'll start seeing you'll start seeing us talk about other aspects of that.
There's just a ridiculous amount of potential because you have the DC license. There's thousands of heroes and stuff, and we've saw a taste of some of the ones to come, some 3 new ones, which will all be out on the open beta at March 14th. But I got to do this for the forums. I need you, Cardell, to list your top 3 champions, or heroes rather, that you would want to be in the game that aren't in the game. These are just your personal picks. Don't have to actually be on the docket.
Oh, no, that's really fair. My top 1 is I've gone around and seen this many times.
Deathstroke. Can I get some Deathstroke? I'll give you mine separately. This is yours.
Why don't you give me yours first? That way
Okay, I'll give you mine first. Mine is Deathstroke, Black Adam, and we'll throw in something unique. I'll put in, what are we gonna do? Gosh, I gotta make it good. We need more badass villains. I would say, like maybe like a Dark Side or something.
Okay.
What about you?
That's good. That's very compelling. All right. Number 1 for me, still John Stewart Green Lantern. I want him in the game. He's my favorite character.
Oh, that's right,
yeah,
John
Stewart Green Lantern. That's
yeah,
number 1.
I remember.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with a little crazy. I'm gonna go something you're like, hey, I don't see this very often. Crypto. I want to see Crypto.
That would be awesome. I love Crypto, man. That's right. Oh, you know what? I changed my pick from Darkseid to a Superboy. You gotta do a Superboy.
Okay,
That'd be an Angry Joe skin technically, just without the jacket. Do Superboy, and I'm talking old Superboy. Okay, what about your rest?
All right, so I'm gonna go for number 3. I mean, you're right. We do need more badass villains. I think that I would probably have to pick. I want to do something like really nutty, like maybe like. Either like
some fun or something.
Yeah, but like something that's kind of like you like Deathstroke? I like someone like Mecha Deathstroke. Like imagine like this crazy like robot that's mostly like blades and like almost like a weird cross of like some crazy Transformer and Deathstroke is like literally just almost all weapons, like something like that. Like I would like to do.
And that's another thing, forums, that nobody really considers when they think of the champions they want in the game. They're always talking Prime.
Yes.
There's 5 other universes that you can choose from. Oh man, I'm so excited about the potential of this game. I'm really looking forward to checking out the new open build on March 14th.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us again, Cardell.
No problem, man. It's always fun.
We've got to get a match in here.
Okay.
I've got to play you.
Okay.
I want to see how good you are.
Okay, are we playing? Maybe
let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Oh no,
let's go.
No,
right now, let's go.
They're cleaned up, but you know what? We'll schedule it.
Let's do it.
On stream, we will schedule our match.
Okay, are you serious?
I'm dead serious. We'll
make it happen. This is going to be awesome. Okay, thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all on the next Angry Joe Show. Hey, Black Adam, put him in. Put him in Black Adam. Put in Zod so that people can be at their computers. Kneel! His ultimate should force somebody to kneel. You gotta do a kneel animation for every single hero. Kneel! Kneel, Cardell, kneel!